Hello listeners, this is the Good Vibration Show and you're with Jackie Bogue. Joining me in the studio is Diana Dagg. Hello Diana.
Hey Jackie.
Diana, what have you been up to during the Seniors Festival?
Well, I wanted to tell you, Jackie, that last week I and a few of our Good Vibrations team had a stall at the Seniors Expo in Darling Harbour.
Sounds fantastic.
And, yeah, it was terrific. We just had such a great time meeting and chatting with the existing and making some new listeners, which was wonderful. So I'd like to send a great big shout out to all of those people who were such fun and who gave us such an encouragement for the show. We got lots of good feedback, Jackie, so that was nice.
That's fantastic. And it sounds like a great event, the Seniors Festival with the expo, and of course the concerts were on as well.
Yes, we noticed that there were mad rushes before and after the show. So that was fun as well. We started to prime ourselves for those. So, Jackie, what's on today's show?
Well, we've got another jam-packed show on. Our lineup includes your chat with Robert Ricci, a hairdresser that's an institution in Leichhardt, plus our regular trivia segment. First up, though, we have Timepieces music segment with Steve Ferreira. Last week, Steve brought us Sinead O'Connor and the Pogues, and he's continuing his Irish theme in celebration of St. Patrick's Day week, I'm going to call it, with the Waterboys. Welcome, Steve.
Good day, listeners. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Jackie. I hope you enjoyed last week's tribute to Irish performers, the wonderful Sinead O'Connor and the Defiance of the Pogues, in honour of St. Patrick's Day. Today on Timepieces, we'll continue with that spirit of musical expression and feature two songs from a band that embodies the Celtic sonic character. Made up of Scottish, Irish and Welsh members, the Waterboys is a band formed by Mike Scott in 1982 under the name The Red and the Black. He is the founding member, lead singer, guitarist, songwriter and only constant member of the band. The band's third studio album, This Is the Sea, released in 1985, with that remarkable Lynn Goldsmith photograph on the cover, was the last of their big music albums. It is considered by critics to be the finest album of the Waterboys' early rock-oriented sound. The record was promoted heavily and was followed by tours in the United Kingdom and in North America as headliners. Sinead O'Connor made her UK live debut as a backing singer at a concert at the London Town and Country Club. Mike Scott, however, refused to promote the album and the single The Whole of the Moon on the popular TV music show Top of the Pops because he refused to lip-sync. This Is the Sea was also the last Waterboys album featuring Carl Wallinger, who left the group to form his own band World Party. Wallinger contributed to the arrangement and recording of The Whole of the Moon, the first song in today's Timepieces. Mike Scott sings with awe mixed with regret, and Wallinger's layered synths and brass-like textures rise in surges. Here's the radiant The Whole of the Moon. band's fourth studio album marked a change in the band's sound, abandoning their earlier high-flying rock sound for a mixture of traditional Irish music, country music, and rock and roll. The Irish folk tradition became central to their identity. Critics were divided on its release, with some disappointed at the change of direction, and others ranking it among the Waterboys' best work. Fisherman's Blues, nonetheless, became the Waterboys' best-selling album, reaching number 13 on the UK charts on release and 76 on the Billboard 200. The single for the song got wide radio airplay in 1989. Here's the title track, Fisherman's Blues.
Tumbling on the seas, far away from dry land and its bitter memories, casting out my sweet life with abandoned love. Love ceiling bearing down on me, save the starry sky above with light in my head, you in my arms. Train crashing headlong into the heartland like a cannon in the rain, with the beating of the sleepers and the burning of the coal, counting the towns flashing by, and a night that's full of soul with light in my head, you in my arms. Train, I will be the fisherman with light in my head, you in my arms.
Well, listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's feature on the Waterboys. Until next time.
Thanks, Steve.
Now we're going to go over to Alan Roberts to enjoy a journey through all things trivia. Thanks, Al.
Hello again and welcome to another episode of It's Trivial, here with your host Alan Roberts. This week, as you know from our show, we're celebrating all things Irish, so the quiz too is all about Ireland. Question 1. Geography of Ireland. What is the capital of the Irish Republic and also the capital of Northern Ireland? Question 2. What's the longest river in Ireland? Now, history. Question 3. How did Bobby Sands die? Question 4. In what year of the 20th century was Northern Ireland created as a separate legal entity? Question 5. Which Irish author wrote the following novels? Paula Spencer, The Woman Who Walked Into Walls, The Van, The Snapper, and Paddy Clark, Ha Ha Ha. Question 6. Bram Stoker is most well known for creating which literary character? And moving from books to films, Christy Brown was an Irish writer born in 1932 who suffered from cerebral palsy. Daniel Day-Lewis won his first Academy Award Best Actor award for playing Christy Brown in what film? Question 8. What Irish actor links the following films? The Guard, Calvary, The Banshees of Inisherin, Hampstead, and Suffragettes. And the last two questions about St. Patrick. St. Patrick is generally thought to have lived in what century? And the last question, question 10. St. Patrick is also the patron saint of which African country? And that's our quiz for today, all about Ireland. Hope you enjoyed it, and stick around till the end of the show and we'll give you the answers for today's quiz.
Now, Diana, I'm getting really excited about this. I'm looking forward to hearing all about hair with you and your chat with Robert Ricci.
I hope you enjoy it, Jackie, and I hope listeners do as well. Listeners, I have in the studio with me Robert Ricci, well-known Leichhardt hairdresser. Robert's the principal and chief hairstylist at Ricci Hair Studio at 60 Norton Street in Leichhardt. I want to pick Robert's brains about what makes great hair for seniors, both men and women. Welcome, Rob. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Diana.
I'm very much looking forward to hearing your thoughts on seniors' hair. But first, I believed you and your family arrived from Italy way back when you were just a little boy. Can you tell us a bit about that?
We came by ship, arrived here on Australia Day in 1969. Did it pretty tough for the first few years, especially with my father's work injuries. My mum absolutely had to work so hard just to pay the rent and do the groceries. But we still had a good time in the process because the community was awesome. Everybody helped each other. Nobody had a lot of money, so it was all about helping and having a good time.
And then after you became a hairdresser in Leichhardt, and you've been hairdressing there since 1982.
Yes, that's right. That's when we opened the salon. But I started my apprenticeship in the city and Bondi Junction, working for a couple of guys that had two salons and alternating between the two. But whilst doing our apprenticeship, we actually started doing our friends' hair in the back room of my parents' house, and we built a little bit of a network where friends recommended friends, etc., etc. And before you knew it, we were ready to open up a salon. So in 82, we did that on Palmetto Road in Leichhardt. So we ended up moving to Norton Street because that salon was tiny and it was just too small for us. So whilst we were in Norton Street, one of my clients was selling his place, a doctor, an ear, nose and throat specialist, and he said to me, "Rob, I'm selling up. Buy my place." I said, "How can I buy your place? I don't have a cent to my name." Anyway, he showed me that the rent that I was paying was more than enough to service the loan, and even put me on a finance company to buy the place.
Oh, wow.
That's how nice he was towards me. So,
Wonderful.
So we ended up moving there where I am now in 1987, and I've been there ever since.
Wonderful. And you've set up a solid base of clients.
I have, and I've never, ever, ever advertised. I just rely on building relationships and just respecting people.
That says a lot about you as a hairdresser and hairdressers in general, I think, Rob. All right, so let's cut to the chase. Here I am, growing older, walking into your salon. I say to you, "Oh, Rob, I hate my hair." What are you going to do?
Well, when you walk in, I look at you, I look at your hair, I look at your vibe. I can see what your hair can do and can't do, and try and give you a nice hairstyle with a bit of an edge, depending on your personality as well. Yeah. Some people are more conservative than others, and I just feel it and I just do it.
And what sorts of things do you take into account? Like, does the shape of our face matter, Rob?
Yeah, that matters a lot, because you're always trying to create an oval shape. So if someone comes in with a really long face and a long neck, you're not going to give them a hairstyle where there's no volume on the sides, and you give them height, because it's going to make them look like a giraffe, so to speak. Don't mean to be rude. Yeah. But what they need is volume on the side and not much height on top or any. Or if someone comes in with a really round face and shows me a photo of this amazing short bob with a fringe, it's not going to suit her, because she's got a round face, and the fringe will give her more width, and the bob, a short bob, will give her even more width, so it's not going to suit her. It's going to look too round. So it's just knowing what suits a person.
What about colour and foils? What's your recommendation as we age, Rob?
Some clients just don't want to see a grey hair. They want their hair coloured fully all the time, and they'll come in every 3 or 4 or 5 weeks to have the roots done. And that's fine if you want to do that. But then some clients are over that, and they just want to get off the colour. So a good way to do that, a good way to transition, is to let the hair grow a little bit. While it's growing out, maybe put some foil so it blends in and looks softer at the same time. But then again, in that way, it's not too expensive and it doesn't damage the hair. But some clients want everything done on the spot and want to look $1 million on the spot. In that situation, you would have to bleach all the colour out and then tone it, and they have to seriously maintain it every day.
Oh, that sounds like a day in the salon.
Well, not only a day in the salon, but even at home, and really expensive. So it's all about, I'll give you my suggestions, and it's all about the decision that the client would like to make.
Okay. What about male hair loss, male baldness? What are your thoughts about that, Rob, as a hairdresser?
Well, unfortunately, us males tend to lose hair around the hairline and even around the crown. And there's nothing worse when men try and cover that by growing the top of their hair, because all that does is exposes the baldness even more. And then if you get a bit of wind through the hair, it looks even worse. So I would just accept it, be confident within myself, and have the best possible cut that suits my face shape, and just be positive and just own it.
And that's where a hairdresser comes in. I imagine that you'd have a role in supporting and advising a man who is concerned about that, Rob. That's
right. And it's just, when I was younger, I was a bit timid, whereas now I just say it how it is, not in a nasty way, in a respectful and friendly way, but say it how it is, and I think your clients appreciate you more.
Yes, I agree with you. Any funny experiences that you could share with us after all those years of having people come into the salon?
Yeah, one funny one was a middle-aged lady came in, and she'd be colouring her hair for years, and her hair looked like dark brown, medium brown, all sorts of shades, and she showed me an image on her phone of how she wants her hair. But her hair was super thick, super coarse, and coloured dark and uneven all the way through. So she showed me a photo of this really short, sleek, blonde bob. Her hair just would never be able to do that. So in that situation, you've got to be honest what she can have, what she can't have.
Yeah.
even if they insist they have to have it.
Yeah.
But
Because we all have unrealistic expectations at times, eh?
Well, we do, but most of the time I can achieve it, but there's the odd time where it's not possible.
So, Rob, thanks for taking the time today to share your expertise and all that experience with us. I think one of the things I wanted to say on behalf of me and on behalf of many of the seniors listening to us is that very often when we enter the hairdressing salon, it feels like one of the safe places that we can be. And I think there's enormous amount of trust between the hairdresser and the client. And I would say, and you tell me if you agree, that it goes beyond trusting you to make us look our best. It feels like we feel safe to share at times in our lives our innermost thoughts and feelings at times. Is that something that you would agree with, Rob?
Well, I do, because with every client that walks through my salon, I always try and build a relationship where there's trust and credibility. So, I talk about my issues with some clients that I've known for a while.
And you build that trust as well.
Build that trust. I can help them with some of their issues. They can help me with some of my issues. And a bit of banter helps. Always try and have a bit of a laugh. Otherwise, it's just a bit on the boring side. It's all about building a relationship and having that trust.
Wonderful. Thanks again to you and to all the hairdressers around the world, I guess, for allowing us to be honest and open in salons at times when we need to be, and for sharing the good times with us as well, Rob.
Thank you, Diana. It's my pleasure.
So, listeners, all that great advice has come from Robert Ricci of Ricci's Hair Studio at 60 Norton Street in Leichhardt. Thanks again for sharing all of this with us, Rob.
Diana, I'm wondering after listening to that chat you just had with Robert, whether or not I might need a new hairstyle.
Jackie, good question. Well, I guess that depends on your vibe, as Robert would say.
It does. I have to think about what I wear when I go that creates the right kind of, image or vision for him to understand what the vibe is.
That was a bit of an eye-opener for me as well.
Before we finally wrap up for the week, let's hear the answers to Alan's trivia.
Well, here we are. Welcome back. The answers for today's quiz are all about Ireland. Question 1, we asked what were the capitals, and the capital of the Republic of Ireland is Dublin, with Belfast as the capital of Northern Ireland. The longest river in Ireland is the Shannon. How did Bobby Sands die? Bobby Sands died from starvation. Northern Ireland was created as a separate legal entity in 1921. Those novels, Paula Spencer, The Woman Who Walked into Walls, The Van, The Snapper, and Paddy Clark Ha Ha Ha, are among the novels written by Roddy Doyle. Bram Stoker created Count Dracula. Christy Brown was played by Daniel Day-Lewis in the film My Left Foot. The Guard, Cavalry, the Banshees of Inisherin, Hampstead and Suffragette all have Brendan Gleeson in their cast. St. Patrick lived in the 5th century. And the final question, St. Patrick is also the patron saint of Nigeria. How'd you go? Another week for celebrating, or another week of, I should have known that? We'll see you again. Well, we'll talk to you again next week for another round of trivia. This is Trivial signing off for another week. And remember, if it's not trivial, it's not important. Bye for now.
That's all for our show this week, listeners. Check us out on Facebook, The Good Vibration Show. And if you'd like to catch up on an episode of our show or loved it so much you want to listen again, you can find us on YouTube. Remember to like us, subscribe so you don't miss a show, and share us with friends. And I'd like to thank our guest, Robert Ricci, our regular hosts, Steve Ferreira, Alan Roberts, plus the Inner West Council for supporting our show. Diana, it's been delightful having you here today.
Absolute pleasure, Jackie.
Thanks for listening. We're your hosts, Jackie Bogue and Diana Dagg. And when it comes to good vibrations, remember to take them in and send them out.
Now he's brought down the rain and the Indian summer is through. In the morning you'll be following your trail again, fair play to you. You ain't calling me to join you, and I'm spoken for anyway. But I will cry when you go away. I will cry when you go away. Your beauty is familiar and your voice is like a key. It opens up my soul and torches up a fire inside of me. Your coat is made of magic and around your table angels play.